Okay, now we're going to take up with page 13 of your workbook in chapter 1, section 3. This is geometry, problem solving type things. So we have our area of a rectangle, perimeter of a rectangle. The formula is there just to remind you. We also have the circle area, pi r squared, circumference is 2 pi r. So we're going to use those right now. I'm just going to move that up. So I've already written out a couple of things here just to save time. So we're looking at example 1.13. So we have, if a 10-inch diameter pizza requires 12 ounces of dough, how much dough is needed for a 14-inch pizza? So we know these are our diameters. So I have drawn out a little diagram there. So we have the radius. If it's 10 inches across, the radius for this one will be 5, and this one will be 7. So you can go ahead and fill that in. The pizzas are actually going to be 3-dimensional, but we can assume equal thickness, which would divide out. So we can just scale with the area of the pizzas. If it makes you feel better, you could just pick a thickness like 1 inch or something like that. So now we're going to fill in a proportion, because we know that the 10-inch pizza requires 12 ounces of dough, but we need to find the amount for the 14-inch that's comparable. So it'll be in the same proportion. So we would have, first let's figure out the area, and then we'll set up our proportion. So the area for the 10-inch pizza is going to be pi times 5 squared. You could just write 25 if you want. So that would be 25 pi, and that calculates out to be about 78.54 square inches there. So I'm actually going to use 79 for my calculations in the proportion, just to keep it clean. I think it will be fine. You know, it's just going to be maybe a little tiny bit of round off build up, but for our purposes it's fine here. Then we have the area for the other pizza. So that's going to come out to be about 153.94 square inches. And so we'll use 154. We'll just round that off a little bit. Now we're going to write out our proportion. So we have, I'm going to push this up just a little bit more, 12 ounces is to 79 square inches equals X ounces. Remember, OZ is an abbreviation for ounces. 154 square inches. So we can go ahead and just clear the denominator, or we can actually just multiply both sides by 154 here. That's easy enough to do. So that one will give us X in the numerator by itself. And now we just have to multiply these values out. We don't really need to cross multiply so much when we are having the variable in the numerator. So this comes out to be, so I have a little line here, X equals 23.4 ounces is needed for the 14-inch pizza. The key thing to know here is we do not want to simply use our diameter for the ratio in this spot. Okay, it needs to typically be, when it's three-dimensional, it'll be volume, but that's why I wrote the note up the top that we can assume that they're about equal thickness, so that would have just divided out. Even if I had a volume problem, I would have added the other dimension of height in there, and if it were 2 inches here and 2 inches there, they would have just divided right out. So this is our answer for that one. Now we'll take a look at the next page. Okay, so now we're taking a look at page 14. This one will be example 1.14, and you will actually do this one as a classwork, but I just want to set you up. You're going to compare the volumes to one another. You do have the same height here, so you could actually do it similarly to the pizza problem. We have 48 50-pound bags. So I'm just going to call it bags because that 50 is kind of distracting in there. And that will fill a sandbox that measures 8 by 8 by 1. So I'm just going to write the volume out here instead of doing it separately. So I'll get that pushed up. And again, the 1 is, I don't necessarily need it there. So we have X bags. For the other size sandbox, 6 by 4 by 1. And then you are going to solve it by crunching the numbers in the same way that you did the pizza problem, and you should end up with 18 bags as your answer. So I'll leave that one for you to work out on your own.